I mean, I think at the end of the day, the best advice that I can give when it comes to like term sheets is just making sure that you're kind of like eyes wide open, getting alignment with your investor every step of the way, right? I think it's getting in the room, talking about the term sheet live, getting in person. It's much easier to read the person in person and to understand like what it is that they're ultimately kind of going through. But also, I think having the honest conversation with yourself up front as a founder, right, to understand like what are my objectives and what are my goals here, right? So, like understanding concepts and things like participating preferred, like what does that mean for me down the road and what are the different scenarios? I think asking the investors to kind of walk you through those different scenarios. So, it's like, hey, say we go sell the business for this much. What does that mean for me, right? And like having them kind of walk through the different options and scenarios of what's ultimately going on. But I also think understanding from your perspective, right? It's a little bit different when you're going through a growth equity transaction. So I think understanding the dynamics of a majority versus a minority position in the business and what it again what it is that you're actually trying to achieve. I think understanding like the rollover mechanics and dynamics. If there's an earnout, right? What does that earnout mean for me? Is it clear? Do we actually have alignment on what it is I need to achieve to hit my earnout? All things of that nature. Probably like, uh, one of my favorite books on like term sheets just in general is Venture Deals, just because it kind of goes through all the ins and outs of like, hey, here's all the pieces of a term sheet that you need to understand. It explains it much better than I ever could. But I think those are some of the just the negotiation points and things of that to keep in mind. I also would say too, like, I think sometimes as a founder, it's easy to get hung up on like specific things, right? Like I want to have, the right to hire who I want to hire, for example. So I'm going to bake that into the term sheet. Like things like that, I think are always like somewhat like if you're if you're working with the right investors, you shouldn't necessarily have to put those clauses necessarily in the term sheet. I think keep the term sheet to more of the economic points, and then you should just kind of understand who's investing in your business to have the good faith action of like, hey, I don't need to protect myself against certain things like that.